What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So a topic we haven't really touched much on in quite a while is some affordable budget hidden gems. Now, not for a lack of them being out there, because I've grabbed many this year, and a few of these I've had for a little while, but a few of these are pretty new to the collection, and I felt it was time to dive back into the topic. What's some of the better, affordable, low budget hidden gem fragrances that are out there for you to grab? Let's discuss, shall we? Because I've got 12 of them. Stay tuned. So I got the original and its flanker recently, and I have to say the flanker is superior for one specific reason. It's not as bright and fresh and playful. It's a little bit more unique, believe it or not. We are talking about from Issey Miyake. This is Fusion D'Issey Extreme. So don't get me wrong. The original Fusion D'Issey, beautiful, bright, sunscreen-esque, breezy type of coconut fragrance. Here you still get the core and essence of that, but it's a more you still get the essence of that, but it's still a more rich and warm and spicy type of coconut than it is bright, airy, and breezy. A little mineralic, not quite as salty, but very woodsy. And a little bit more spicy. There's some cardamom in here that really kind of jumps out. It kind of jumps off the page at you when you smell it. I'm a big fan of this one. And obviously it's an overall more intense smell. Like I said, it does smell like the original. It's a true flanker to it. An extreme take on it, an intense take on it. It could have been named either of those because it does stay true to the original, just intensified, extreme or extreme as it's printed. This is one I encourage you grabbing. You can get this for around $40 USD. I'll have links to as much of this as I can find down below for you guys, because literally everything's $50 or below USD is what it can be found for, and is what I paid for these. Most of these in the $20 to $40 range, and this kind of on the higher end for being around 40 bucks for the topic, but performance is actually really good. I wouldn't call it a beast, but it's well above average. It still has that beachside vacation type of feel, but maybe geared a little bit more towards the evenings because it's so warm, woodsy, and spicy, but it's still got that fun tropical vibe to it. So check this one out if you haven't yet. This is Fusion D'Issey Extreme from Issey Miyake. This next one I had bought quite a while back, and I just started reaching for it again. And it's very affordable from discounters these days. It wasn't exclusive to Perfume Mania when I bought it. Clearly that changed, so don't always believe that exclusive stuff because eventually they end up other places. But Mercedes-Benz Man Bright is such a wonderful fragrance. It's kind of in the same vein of a Bleu de Chanel. So Bright is a good name for this flanker because it's very bright and fresh in the opening, as you would expect. Beautiful bergamot type of minty feel. A little bit of pink pepper adds this vibrance, a hit of spice. And then as it starts to settle, there's a sweet powdery tonka bean. That's where it kind of differs, because you're going to get a little bit of kind of a Y hit meets Bleu de Chanel early in the life of this fragrance. But as it dries, like I said, if you like lightly sweet tonka bean, lightly powdered tonka bean, it's tonka bean sweet, you'll enjoy this one. Decent performer. It's not going to win any awards, but around 6-7 hours in longevity. Decent projector for about an hour and a half. Again, not super original, kind of blends a few different types of fragrances together. Like I said, a little bit of Y, a little bit of Bleu de Chanel with some tonka bean, and it makes for something that's actually quite enjoyable. Not too cloying and too sweet or too powdery for the warm weather, but has enough oomph to it to kind of work you around in cooler settings also. Check this one out if you haven't yet. It's Mercedes-Benz Man Bright. I'm such a fan of this fragrance. It doesn't get any love. It's super cheap, sub $20 price point for a 50 ml. It's sporty, it's fresh, it's summery, it's fun. It's David Beckham Instinct Sport. Beautiful orange bottle and just such an understated thing. A really good magnetic cap on these David Beckham Instinct bottles. So there's a fruitiness to it, a crisp tone from some spiciness that you're going to get from some ginger. These ozonic notes provide kind of this almost aldehydic watery feel, like it's bright, it's sparkly, but still fresh and watery at the same time. This is understated for how good it is. I believe the watery feels, not just the ozonic notes. I believe it's violet leaf, has a little bit of a violet leaf smell to it. Decent performer, nothing spectacular here, about 4 to 5 hours in longevity. But like I said, sub $20 price point. It is really, really good. I forgot what fragrance it reminds. I have another fragrance that smells pretty much like it. It's slipping my mind at the moment, but this is the more affordable, which that one's not expensive either. I'm trying to remember what fragrance it is. My apologies, but this is definitely one that's worth checking out. It's fun, it's vibrant, it's super fresh. It's not crazy unique or anything like that. It's just a really nice fragrance on a nice warm day. It doesn't have to be a hot day, but spring, summer, fall, or warmer climates year-round, you could probably get some joy out of this one as long as you temper your expectations in performance and aren't looking for a beast. You'll probably enjoy this one in the sub $20 price points. David Beckham Instinct Sport. This next one is one of the best hidden gems I've come across in a long time. Shout outs to my friend Joey for putting me on this one. It shows up $20 to $30 for 100 ml to 200 ml. Ross Dress for Less is going to be your best bet to find this one, but you can find it for around the same price from discounters online. It's easy to get a hold of, and it's kind of like CK1 Summer if it had better performance. It's CK All. This could easily go in the CK1 Summer line because it's so vibrant and fresh, full of bright, watery citrus, and the white florals here kind of offer a little bit of a creaminess to them, more so than a powdery tone. White florals really, really stand out. CK All is a fitting name, genderless fragrance. I don't think it leans feminine. I don't think it leans masculine. I think everybody can get some joy out of this for the $20 to $30 you're going to spend, depending on bottle size and where you grab it. This is such a good fragrance. 4 to 5 hours. Now, when I say better performing CK1 Summer Flanker, most of you that have ever experienced those, you know you might even get the infamous 30 minutes of performance from something like that. I typically get about 2 to 3 hours of longevity with maybe 30 to 45 minutes of projection if I'm lucky from a CK1 Summer Flanker, but they're just so bright and fun and fresh. You still get that bright, fun, fresh tone from this, from all the citrus. The white florals kind of ground it, give it a richer, deeper character to the profile, offers a little bit, like I said, more of a creamy feel than a powdery feel. Really, really big fan of this one. I would encourage you to get your nose on this one. This is like hidden gem of the year in my opinion. It's Calvin Klein CK All. Now, I think they outdid themselves with this flanker because I'm a fan of this line. I have every fragrance they've put out in this line. I'm a fan of Tommy Bahama fragrances in general. But I think if you're only going to buy one in 2023, let it be Maritime Voyage, the newest release in the Maritime line. This is gorgeous. You get a little bit of that star fruit, that sour citrus note that's most famously featured in Versace Mano Fraiche. Lemongrass, lime, it's like this green kind of fresh watery look to it. The color scheme of this bottle matches the scent profile. A little musky, a little creamy and white floral in its heart, but not a flowery type of feel. Like I said, that lemongrass offers a little bit of this green freshness, not a super lemony type of tone, but that's what I attribute the light green hit that I get from it. Very aromatic, bright, watery, again, while slightly being creamy, with a soft woody cedar as it dries down. Not, super unique, don't get me wrong, but it also doesn't remind me of any one particular fragrance. You get essences of different things. Like I said, you'll get a little bit of Versace Mano Fresh in the top because of that familiarity from the carambola, the starfruit note. But this is good stuff. Even though it's an eau de cologne and EDC concentration, don't let that detour you because I get about 4 to 5 hours, even going into that 6-hour range of longevity, with a good solid hour of pretty good projection. For an EDC concentration, this stuff actually performs really well. Tommy Bahama fragrances tend to. They're all eau de colognes, but they all have average performance. But this is the best of the bunch in my opinion. Check this one out. Tommy Bahama Maritime Voyage. Now in my opinion, this is such a fun fragrance. Yes, it's a girly looking bottle. Get past it, guys, because if you like bubblegum scents, you should really try Moschino Toy 2 bubblegum. I recently picked this one up at TJ Maxx. Could have got 100 ml for the same price I paid for this 50 ml. I grabbed it for $50 at the rack store. $45-50 you can get 100 ml from discounters online. I understand. I like finding stuff out in the wild. And I took a chance on this one. I thought it was going to be a much more bold blind buy than it actually was. This is lovely. I'm actually going to give a little spritz on my hand. You get that, oh, there it is, that double bubble. Think the individually wrapped big bucket full of bubble gum when you were a kid, double bubble gum. That's what this smells like. Big League Chew, bubble yum, the tape, bubble gum tape. That's what it smells like. A little bit of cherry blossom, peach, blueberry combo offers this fruitiness with this light rosy feel as it dries. It doesn't really come across all that feminine to me. I think it's a perfectly unisex, fun, flirty, playful fragrance. Laid back, just fun. Fun's such a good word for this fragrance. The color scheme of the bear's head, that bubblegum pink color, that is the scent profile. Now that chewing gum smell doesn't stay the entirety. You will settle down into a little bit of a musky, fruity tone with that rose. If you're a fan of rose fragrances, it's a rich Bulgarian rose with some light fruitiness. Again, I don't find it really leans all that feminine. I think it's perfectly unisex, though a very girly bottle. That's the thing. You have to get past the look of the bottle to really give this one a chance. If you could care less what a bottle looks like and you just want to enjoy a fragrance, this is definitely going to be a hidden gem that not too many guys are going to take a look at. I understand why. I get it. Just give it a chance. Look, worst case scenario, I promise your girl's going to like it. My wife wants to steal this bottle from me. She loves the way it smells too. But super hidden gem for the fellas. I promise you this is better than you think it is. Toy 2 Bubblegum from Moschino. So all my Nautica Voyage fans out there, I have a little bit of a treat for you. You can find this one for around 25 bucks. They've been popping up the rack stores a lot lately. It's a little bit more on discount sites, but if you can find it in the rack stores, 25 bucks. We'll get you Perry Ellis Pure Blue. So what's so special about Perry Ellis Pure Blue? And why did I bring up Nautica Voyage? Well, it's basically Nautica Voyage plus cardamom. It's like a fresh, spicy Nautica Voyage. It still has that watery, aquatic, musky floral tone. Like, it literally smells like Voyage, even though it's not the exact same note breakdown. It smells like Nautica Voyage, and that cardamom stands out. It's a little bubblegummy, a little fresh, spicy. It's beautiful, and the bottle is hefty, thick. I'm very impressed that this is a Perry Ellis fragrance, because it's actually it's plastic, but it's like a rubberized matte finish to this cap. It's actually got some decent heft to it. The bottle's thick, frosted blue, very thick base, good atomizer. We're going to spray it again. It's good stuff. I'm telling you, if you like Nautica Voyage, you'll probably love this, because I think it's superior. It takes everything that's good about Nautica Voyage and enhances it with cardamom. It's literally that simple. A synthetic cardamom, don't get me wrong. It doesn't smell super expensive. It's on par, maybe slightly better as far as the quality of the smell versus Nautica Voyage, because Nautica Voyage does smell really cheap, don't get me wrong. But guys, if you're running low on your bottle of Nautica Voyage, or you just love the scent profile that much, you might really want to check this one out. This is hidden gem of hidden gems. Perry Ellis Pure Blue. Now with this next one, I really believe if Calvin Klein Eternity was a brand new fragrance line, Eternity Cologne would be the first release in the line, because it's full of ambroxan. It's bright, fresh, a little clean shower gel feel. Minty tone. The oak moss here offers that green feel. It still has that aromatic barbershop tone, but like I said, the oak moss really stands out, while this ambroxan feel really, like I said, freshens it up. It's not a real super earthy green, but it's there. A little fresh and spicy, very aromatic, just clean, soapy. Everything that's to like about modern synthetics, for those of you that enjoy stuff like ambroxan, Loranox, synthetic ambergris, things like that. If you enjoy fragrances that have that, you'll definitely like this, because I personally am not a fan of the original Eternity Eau de Toilette. That was my dad's jam, not my thing. I like the EDP, I like a bunch of the other flankers, but as far as ones that smell exactly, straight up Eternity, just twisted, that would be the Eau de Parfum in this one. This one's my kind of jam. This is my style right here. This is basically the true blue fragrance version. I know we have Eternity Aqua and we have Eternity Air, but they don't really smell that much like Eternity. Aqua smells like Polo Blue. Air kind of smells like a very subpar take on Dylan Blue. This is some good stuff. Super underappreciated. No, I haven't seen too many people really give it the time of day. This is Blind Buy Safe. If you've ever liked anything about the Eternity DNA, or you like ambroxan fragrances, for 21 bucks, this is a no-brainer of an affordable hidden gem. It's Calvin Klein Eternity Cologne. This next one I was put on by my good friend Chad over at The Gentleman's Journey. He recommended this for us to do a collaboration review on his channel, which we did do. And I have to say, I've been a big fan ever since of Kenneth Cole. Mankind Unlimited. Huge, huge fan of this fragrance. Why am I showing this silicone rubber band? So, very fun daytime summer fragrance. Every time I talk about this, think about the vibe at a water park. Fun, fresh, it's hot outside, you're just having a blast, going down the slides, riding the rides, hitting the wave pool, lazy river, the whole nine, everything that comes with a water park, right? This is the vibe in a bottle. That's just what it reminds me of every time I smell it. It's fun. It's watery orange while still having some peppery zest to it. Woody. There's a little bit of an herbal green facet. It's not overly complex or anything. There's a bunch of notes here, but it's straight up watery orange, peppered spice and woods. It's, like I said, it reminds me of waiting in line, climbing up the stairs. You know those wooden stairs that go up to the top of the slide, soaking wet with your raft, depending on the ride, or if it's a steep slide where you're just going to haul ass down the slide. I can't get away from the water park vibe and mentally putting myself there when I smell this one. Look, maybe no one else gets that. Who knows? But that's what it reminds me of. That's where it puts me mentally. That's what I visualize. That's the vibe that I get. And because that's such a fun thing, I have so many memories over the years of that situation, being at a water park, that really makes me love this fragrance. I would encourage you getting this one. It may not do for you what it does for me. There's no guarantees. This is a very unique experience to me. I'm sure I'm the only person that's ever talked about this that describes it this way. I'm confident in that statement. But if you like if you have similar taste to me, if you trust my opinion, you might want to check this one out. If you like watery orange, peppery, and woody, any of that sounds good, this is a great hidden gem. Kenneth Cole, Mankind Unlimited. Now, speaking of orange, we have a zesty, spiced, creamsicle type of orange. Similar in the same vein of Amen Ultra Zest, Paco Rabanne's Ultra Red Man. This is Vince Camuto Solare, perfumed by my main man, Claude Deer. He did a great job with this. Beautiful fragrance. You can get in $30 or less, depending on bottle size and where you find it. I grabbed it for $25 from a Burlington. Sub $30, you can get 50 and 100 mLs from discounters online. Like I said, I'll have links below. But this orange, pimento to give a little bit of spice, sandalwood creaminess. It's very fresh, but still manages to have this slightly warm, spicy tone that's not too peppery because it's pimento or pimento leaf or something like that. It does have, like I said, this spicy tone, but more of a creamy spice. It's so enjoyable. The quality smells decent here, too. It doesn't really smell like a $25 to $30 fragrance to me. Maybe that's, me just wanting to enjoy it more because it's perfumed by a friend of mine. I don't know, but it's so well composed. It's not quite as zesty as something like an Ultra Red Man, and it's not quite the monster performer of an Ultra Zest. But for the money, it's one of the better renditions, takes, styles, interpretations that I've ever gotten my nose on of Ultra Zest. It's kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for a very cheap, decent quality Ultra Zest clone in many ways. While not exactly the same, it's pretty much what they were going for here. And that's Vince Camuto Solare. Now this next one's a straight up clone. Middle Eastern affordable clone from Paris Corner. That's so good, I had to put it here. It's such a hidden gem. If you've ever been a fan of the vintage, the old formulas of Dior Homme Intense, you owe it to yourself to try Pendora Scent's Camaro Homme Intense. This is one of the subsidiary brands of Paris Corner. This stuff's crazy good. It's 30 some odd dollars before the 10% off code down below. This one blew me away. I gave it a 9 out of 10 in the first impressions and in the full review. I stuck to it. Super waxy, not quite as sweet as newer versions of Dior Homme Intense. It's more like the 07 formula where there was a bit more leather and muskiness while still having sweetness. Don't get me wrong. It's still sweeter than the original Dior Homme's DNA. That's a more balanced version, whereas this, it's got that creamy, leathery feel. Like I said, a little bit of that musky ambrette smell, even though it's not really in the notes. That vanillic sweetness, super, super, super waxy, fresh rolled out lipstick smell, which sounds off-putting to those that aren't familiar with that type of fantasy iris note that this has, the Dior Homme line has always had. But if you're familiar with that, ooh, you're getting excited right now. Yes, vintage Dior Homme Intense. The quality here is superb. I'm very impressed by this. This was the most impressive fragrance I've gotten in 2023 from Paris Corner. There's one that came close, the Baby Cat clone called Rifaka. That's very good. That's a close second for best of the year that I've picked up from Paris Corner. But I could pick up everything they put out the rest of the year, their entire catalog, and I don't think I'm going to like any of them more than I like this, because I'm such a sucker for Dior Homme, and this is the ever so difficult to find for even double retail, because resale prices are ridiculous. But if you want vintage, old 07 formula of Dior Homme Intense, your best bet is to look into Paris Corner's Pendora Scents Camaro Homme Intense. This next one, very green, very fruity, a little spicy and woodsy. Kind of reminds me of if Polo Red had a baby with Versace Eros. I think it would be Perry Ellis Bold Red. That's right, the other Perry Ellis fragrance in this particular line. They're both gems. $50, you can get them both. That's what I did at TJ Maxx. This is good stuff. Finger lime and apple in the top, and boy, you get both of them. It's bright, juicy, fresh, and fruity. You get a little of all of it. It's spicy. There's a creaminess to the way the woody tone comes across. A little musky and ambery. Understated for how good this one is. I could not double negative, I get it. I could not have both of these fragrances from Perry Ellis, because they both impressed me. I still think they're both valuable, worthy pickups in the sub $30 price point. I think they're great hidden gems. They're easily the two best fragrances I've ever smelled from Perry Ellis, and I've got about 10 or so fragrances from the house at this point. And there's a few really good hidden gems there, don't get me wrong. These are the priciest of the group at $25 a piece that I picked them up for. Pricey for a Perry Ellis fragrance anyways, but still cheap, still budgetary conscious, and very good stuff that doesn't smell super cheap. I wouldn't call them luxury, high quality smelling fragrances, but for the money, they're pretty hard to beat. That's twice in one video. They're just flying by today, the loud exhaust. That was a bike this time. Those of you that watch on a regular basis, you're giggling, because it happens in pretty much every video and every live stream. But regardless of the loud noise through the window, this fragrance in particular, we kind of finished it off with kind of the hidden, not necessarily the hidden gem of the hidden gems, but I would say the one fragrance that doesn't tie to any other fragrance in the video in any way, shape, or form, because there's a few that have similar nuances to one another, whereas this is just straight up Eros meets Polo Red. It's pretty much what I get from it. The apple fruitiness, this kind of green feel that offers almost a minty-like freshness. There's some peppered, gingery spice here that offers this crispness while being a little creamy. I think the ginger offers more of a creamy tone than just a brightness. Just a beautiful fragrance. It's worth checking out. It's definitely a great hidden gem. It's Perry Ellis Bold Red. Well, that's the dozen that I have for you today. Could have did 15, could have did 10. I felt like 12. Why 12? Why not 12 is the better question. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback, and I love hearing from you guys. Of these 12, what have you tried? Are you a fan of any of them? Are any of these on your list of things you'd like to get? Did anything spark your interest with what you heard here today? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 12 we discussed in this video and you give them a spray now, I think there's a pretty good chance you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.